What's good, everybody? Today, I want to talk about Samuel Cosmi, a left tackle who, in my opinion, is going to be a great player once he gets into the NFL. And right now, he isn't there. He is 6'7", which is fantastic, but he is kind of on the lighter side. Some people say he'll be around 300 pounds. Some people have put him around 310 pounds. He does a great job here, as you guys are going to see. This is a run-pass option. He's going to do a great job just getting here to the defensive end and essentially just putting him down. In my opinion, I think he's going to add a ton of weight, right? So what I want to look for when I watch players like this, when I know for a fact he's going to add 10 to 15 pounds, probably before his rookie year even starts. But what I want to look at is I want to see how he blocks when he blocks out, when he down blocks, when he pulls, when he kicks out, when he's getting to the second level. I want to see all those things because I already know just by his weight and kind of watching a couple of his games and just reading the scouting reports as well. I already know he is not the biggest guy, right? He is not going to beat you with strength. At the point of attack, he's not great, right? Like, by no means, but that's okay. Guess what? Nate Soldier was not great at the point of attack. He was great when it comes to all the other things. Colton Miller was not great at the point of attack, but he was great at a lot of other things. And those guys are perfectly fine long-term tackles in the NFL that are going to have a good 10 to 15-year career, right? Just depending on how their health goes. I think Samuel Cosmi is going to be a great offensive tackle in the NFL. He can play left or right. Let's just jump right into it. Here's a great example of exactly what I mean when it comes to Samuel Cosmi. Here's a great play in which he's going to make the perfect block, and it does not get better than that. Basically, you see him not only staying low. Again, remember, he's 6'7". He's a former wrestler, so he does know how to kind of play with leverage a little bit, right? He understands the functions of being able to beat guys with just leverage and technique. He does a great job. He gets to the inside here. Now, see, the thing with this play is in the 1 to 2 seconds before you make your block, you have to think what the defense is doing. You have to think about what the linebackers are doing, the defensive tackle, defensive end, and you have to make a decision on what you're going to do to win in this situation as far as from a blocking perspective. And I want to tell you what NFL teams are going to love, right? What Cosmi is going to do here is he's basically going to go to his right, and he's going to want to seal off the backside, right? So just from a running back perspective, this play is going to be ran right about here. So what Cosmi is going to do is he's going to initially come to the inside. They're going to let this backside defensive end go unblocked because they feel he won't make the play anyways. Basically, what they're going to do is Cosmi's going to come to the inside, and he's going to get to make a decision. He can either stop and seal off this defensive end, but if the defensive end goes way further upfield, he can just continue on and get to this linebacker and try sealing him off this way, so there's a gap. And we'll kind of get into this in slow motion. As you see Cosmi going to the inside, he sees that this defensive end has taken the angle to the outside. Now, of course, they have the tight end coming back on the kickback block. But Samuel Cosmi sees that defensive end is going way, or that defensive tackle number 54 is going way towards the left of the screen, which is that defensive tackle's right. There's no point of blocking him, right? He's already taken himself out of the play. So Cosmi is going to go to the next level, and this is what I find fantastic on his end. At this point, a lot of guys will just go right at this guy and block him this way. Maybe they'll try cutting him off this way. But Cosmi does a great job in the sense that he understands not to not to take the wrong angle, right? Like, look at where he's gonna end up going, right? He knows who he's blocking. He's gonna run to the proper spot where he knows that I can just cut this guy off. That's exactly what he does here, and this is why I think he's going to be a great player. He puts his body exactly where he needs to be. I'm surprised number 9 doesn't see this sooner. Honestly, just a slow read on his part. Cosmi does a fantastic job. Gets his arm on that defensive, or that linebacker, cuts him off, and that is a fantastic NFL type of block, and teams are going to love this right here. It does not get better than that. Understanding angles. Let's jump forward and let's get into the next play. All right, guys, in this play right here, you're going to see Cosmi lined up right here. Basically, between him and the left guard, they're going to basically do this block here where Cosmi needs to get to the inside, right? super difficult block in my opinion, right? For a left tackle to have to basically cut off this defensive tackle, this is a NFL block, right? You have to get your head to the inside, and he does just that. He gets his hips turned and everything. This block, you know, I watch tackles in the NFL all the time not be able to get to this block, right? Oftentimes, what ends up happening is this defensive tackle will shoot through this gap, and the defensive tackle ends up either making the play or resetting the line of scrimmage, causing some sort of disruption. For Cosmi to be able to get his hips turned around and not allow that to happen, this is fantastic, man. And you know, it's very impressive because not only does he get the block, but he stays low, man, and he has leverage, right? He gets underneath the defensive tackle. Like, look at where his helmet is, look at where his hands are. Everything about this right here is fantastic. And obviously, if you guys haven't realized yet, the quarterback ends up throwing this ball, right? This is a run pass option. The quarterback's going to read this guy here. Honestly, if the quarterback just handed it off, regardless of that guy coming or not, this is possibly a touchdown. Look at this whole, like, look at that. That's a touchdown, right? I mean, in my opinion, that's a touchdown. Let me know what you guys think. Is that a touchdown? Is it not? But the reason why it's a touchdown is because of number 52, right? Cosmi does a great freaking job right here, just wrapping his guy up and just blocking him, man, sealing it off, cutting it off. And that left guard obviously does a great job as well. And obviously the left guard makes his block here too. Yeah, I don't know, man. To me, that seems like he should have handed it off, but obviously he made his read, and he made the proper read. I don't think this play actually gained any yards. I think it might have gained a couple yards, but either way, great block by Cosmi, and this is what NFL teams are going to absolutely love, right? Being able to see blocks like this, plays like this. But let's go ahead and jump forward into the next play. All right, guys, moving forward to this game. We're now at the Texas versus Oklahoma State game. I want you guys to watch Samuel Cosmi because the way he takes his angles, the way he's able to cut players off, I can't stress this enough, how important this is from an offensive tackle especially, because they need to be the most athletic people on the offensive line, right? Because not only do they have to block defensive ends that might be 240 pounds that are speed guys, but at the same time, they're going to have to block 315-pound, 3-4 defensive ends, right, or defensive tackles. Look at this play here. He's going to do a great job, and basically he's going to get to this linebacker, but it's not just the fact that he gets to this linebacker. It's the way he gets to this linebacker, right? He's going to essentially take an angle this way where he's able to get to the side, to the right side of that middle linebacker. And I can't stress how important that is, right? So as you watch the play begin, look at how he's going to essentially take a couple steps to his right, keep going, and here he is, and here's the linebacker, and look at how he seals this guy off. I mean, that's a very freaking impressive right there, and you got to consider the fact that look at where he started off and look at where the linebacker started off, and I think it'll be a little bit more evident by watching it from this backside, right? This is like, I don't even know how many yards that is, but you know, that's about 6 yards one way, and then obviously he has to climb up to the second level. But this is what NFL teams and scouts love, and this is what they rave about. They rave about the fact that he understands angles and he understands where he needs to put his body. And if you're able to do that in college at the level that he's already doing it, you're going to be a great tackle. Now, the only concerns that people have right now is the fact that he is undersized, which he absolutely is. But that's okay, right? Undersized players in college, you get stronger in the NFL. He might struggle his first year, his second year, his third year, and teams have to understand that, right? Like when they take him, they have to understand that he's going to give up sacks. It's just what it is, right? NFL defensive ends, especially guys that have been in the league for 5, 6, 7 years, are stronger than him, and they're gonna be stronger than him, and they're gonna beat him with different techniques, with different skill sets, with different speeds and strengths. But these are the things you cannot teach, right? You can tell an offensive tackle, hey, we need you to try to get up to the next level and try to cut this guy off. But that's not going to happen, right? A lot of offensive tackles don't know how to do this thing. And for the most part, it's, their body doesn't allow it. Their strength, their speed, it's all balanced a specific way. But Cosmi is going to be a special lineman, man. It's going to come down to if he's able to after his first year, how much stronger he gets, how much, how he adjusts to the speed of the game, because those things matter, right? For offensive tackles, if you're able to adjust to that speed and how long it takes you to adjust, and then more than that, the strength part of it, right? Colton Miller's a great example of that. Colton Miller's first year in the NFL, I think he gave about 17 sacks, if my memory's correct. His second year, I think he gave about 6 to 7 sacks. And at that time, people were labeling him a bust, right? So still at that time, which, okay, 17 sacks is a shit ton of sacks. 7 sacks is probably what a rookie or second-year player should allow. But then last season, he only gave up two sacks, right? So when you give up only 2 sacks in your third year, you're seeing improvement, right? Year after year after year. And this next year, like, people expect Colton Miller to become an all-pro. And then at the same time, you look at some other players that came into the league. They're tall, they're lengthy, they're not the strongest, but they understand angles. And that's exactly where Samuel Cosmi's at right now, right? He understands angles. And I can't stress enough how important that part of blocking is, right? You're not going to win every block, right? And you can see him on this play specifically here. You're not going to win every block, right? That's unrealistic. Unless you're Trent Williams or one of these other superstar left tackles, you're not going to win every block. But it's about how you're going to adjust, right? And you take this play here. You look at number 40, and you look at what number 40 does. Number 40 is going to give Cosmi a hard rip to the inside, right? He's the defensive end number 40 is basically going to spill, which means you're going to take the hard angle to the inside, and you allow someone else, which is this guy, to basically contain the outside. And for Cosmi, he understands that this guy is trying to do that, so he's going to just kick him and push him to the inside. I mean, at that point, that's all you can really do. This play was never really going to work, but hey, it still picked up 3 to 4 yards. Not a bad play. But let's move forward and let's get into a couple more plays. In the NFL, this is something that teams do all the time, especially in like outside zone or stretch plays. Basically, you have 2 guys, which, your left tackle, your left guard, and they are responsible for 2 defensive guys, right? That linebacker and that defensive end. So those 4 guys, or those 2 offensive guys, should block the 2 defensive guys. And you're going to see in this play how they're going to do it, right? Basically, you're going to start off at the point of attack, basically doubling the defensive end, and you're going to watch for this linebacker. Now, if the linebacker tries to take the outside angle, at that point, it's the left tackle's responsibility. If he tries to shoot the gap, at that point, it's the left guard's responsibility. Number 34 is basically going to try to take the outside, and Samuel Cosmi does a great job cutting him off. So not only are you, as the left tackle, helping your left guard by double teaming number 3 there, but at the same time, you're getting off of number 3 and you're getting to the next level, which is number 34. And the running back has the lane. I mean, as this running back here, wouldn't you absolutely love to know that every time you're going to run to your left tackle side, he's going to have the proper angle set up for you, and you're not even going to get touched until you're like 6 yards downfield. And then, that obviously allows you to put your pads down and run someone over right there like you do right there. That's a great run. Boom, hits him right there. I love it. I love the finish, but more than the finish, I love the block, man. I love the angle blocking, and I love the technique here shown by Samuel Cosmi. Now, some people do worry about Cosmi and his pass protection because it isn't great, right? Especially because he is not the biggest guy. Now, one of the things I do like about him is he does understand that he's longer than a lot of people, and that is something he uses to his advantage, right? You see a great example of that right here. He gets his arm fully extended, and he just plays with that length, man. And at the end of the day, he will get stronger, right? There's no way around it, right? It's impossible. If you put the effort in, if you love the game of football, you're going to get stronger. And as long as you know how to play with leverage, it's perfectly fine. Now, another thing people often talk about is the fact that he leans a little bit, which he absolutely does, right? It's not great that he leans, but that's okay. There's different ways that offense tackles block, and it's being more widely accepted if you are leaning, right? You obviously see that play right here where he is kind of leaning a little bit. But Colt Miller leans, Nate Soldier leans a little bit. Trent Williams is another guy that he does lean a little bit. Obviously, he has a nasty punch. But it's okay. There's different ways to block as long as you get it done, and the production speaks for itself. He didn't allow any sacks this past season. I think he allowed 1 or 2 sacks the season before. As far as like, if you want a guy that has proven himself, Cosmi's the guy, man. Like he has, I think, 34 starts at tackle. I think 21 at left tackle and the rest at right tackle. But he has the experience, man. And again, he understands how to use his long arms. Just look at that, man, right there. What do you do? Like, you think about this. What do you do if you're a defensive end or a defensive tackle? And let's say you're like 6'2", right, which is probably around the average, right? 6'2" to 6'4" is probably what most defensive tackles are. What do you do when a guy's like 6'7", 6'8", and his arms just are longer than yours? So like he can put his arms in your chest. What do you do, man? Like this guy can't. Like number 55 is trying to like rip. He's trying to get around him. He's trying to swim, and it's just not gonna work, man. That's just what happens, right? And that's why teams want these guys that are taller, right? Not only does it allow you to eventually grow into your body and grow into your own, but when you're not there strength wise, you're going to be able to play with things like your arms. You're going to have to figure out how to play with your leverage. And once you do put that strength on, once you do get stronger, you're already going to have the technique there. And again, these left tackles that are like 6'6" and taller, how athletic do you have to be that tall and to be able to move like this, right? Like this is very impressive in my opinion, right? Now, we talk a little bit about Cosmi leaning, and it is an issue at times, and he'll have to get it corrected, right? Because here's a great example of what could happen if you lean, right? As you're going to see in this play, he's going to lean, and he gets swam over just a little bit by number 3 there. But he does kind of catch it. Honestly, I think if number 3 was a better player, right, and I'm not saying he's a bad player, but if he was a better player, that could have been very deadly, right? But basically, this is on Cosmi because he's leaning. His technique is not great. Like his kick step is not great. His form is not great. But that's okay. I have no issue with it. When you block the way he blocks, when it comes to run blocking, the angles, all the things he does, besides the fact that he's not great at pass blocking, I'm okay with it. If he's more comfortable at right tackle, you put him at right tackle. That might be better for teams to not have to rely on him as much. Left tackle is another spot for him. Again, there's so many teams that need an offensive tackle. Cosmi right now is probably my 5th offensive tackle. Maybe he jumps up a little bit, but right now I'll have him as my 5th offensive tackle, and he can still end up going in the top 15, believe it or not, because the offensive tackle class is deep just like last year, and everybody needs an offensive tackle. It kind of sucks for the offensive tackles that are in the NFL right now because your position's becoming devalued because there's so many good left tackles and right tackles in the NFL, and guys are only getting better, they're getting faster, they're getting stronger, and let's face it, if you're 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", would you rather play guard or would you rather play tackle, right? Guards don't get paid what tackles get paid. Again, and we talk about this again, his footwork, his leverage, the way he cuts this guy off and he creates this backside lane, it's fan-freaking-tastic, right? I mean, look at this. If the running back wants to, boom, he can just hit this cutback lane because that is what Cosmi creates. Like, you look at this right here, man. What do you do if you're that guy? Like, how do you get past that, right? Great job. And, of course, Robinson, in my opinion, is also a great running back. I think he's going to be a good NFL back. But let's move forward and let's talk about a couple more plays. Now, if you guys don't know this already, playing tackle, playing offensive line, and being great at it, it's a game of chess, right? Believe it or not. And let me explain what I mean to you guys. In this play, this is a run-pass option, but if the running back gets this ball, which he obviously does not, he would run it somewhere between here, or he would run it somewhere right here, right? The offensive linemen are blocking this, like they're trying to get the running back into one of these two lanes. But when you watch Cosmi here, right, he has a difficult block, right? A little bit easier than some of the blocks he's made in the past. But this defensive tackle knows what's going on, right? He knows when Cosmi is trying to come to the inside here, he knows that he needs to get around this and get to the inside gap. He 100% understands it, and you can see it based off of the way he plays this play, right? Cosmi goes to the left of the screen. Number 97 is going to lock it, and he's going to try to not let Cosmi turn him and get to the inside. He's going to lock his arms out, and watch Cosmi use his right arm, and he smacks that number 97's arms off of him, and then he quickly adjusts himself, and he ends up getting to the inside, as you guys see, and gets his hips turned around. Now, obviously, that defensive end doesn't know, and Cosmi doesn't know. Neither of these guys know that the quarterback is actually throwing the ball to the outside. Neither of those guys know that that's what just happened. Okay, both of those guys are trying to win that inside. But I say it's a game of chess out there because of the fact that that's what it takes to win, man. When someone locks you out like that, that punch by Cosmi is what it takes sometimes to get the defensive tackle who is locking up and trying to control your chest. That's what it takes to win him. That's what it takes to beat him. That's a great freaking job. You know, in my personal opinion, I do think on the overall level, he does have some improvements to make, right? He's not a perfect prospect, but his ceiling is so much higher than I think any other offensive tackle in this class. Like, if I had to give him a grade of where he's at today on a scale of 1 through 100, when it comes to his run blocking, I'd give him 100, right? And I'm not over hyping him. I'm not trying to do that. But when it comes to his pass blocking, he's at like a 60 to 70 out of 100. And that's where he's going to have to improve his game on, and he will improve it, right? He'll get stronger. He's going to continue to work on his technique. A good offensive coach, an offensive line coach is going to do wonders for him. And a good strength program is going to do wonders for him. Now, he is being mocked right now somewhere in the top 30. I disagree. I think he's going to most likely be the 4th or 5th offensive tackle taken, and I think he'll go in the top 20. I think it's a great draft for offensive linemen. And hey, if you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to have great tackles. I think it's the most undervalued position on an offense, more undervalued than having great playmakers. And that's just my personal opinion. I want to know what you guys think about Cosmi. Do you guys think he's a good player? If not, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.